So, first things first, let's go to firefly.adobe.com and we're going to go down here to where it says prompt and we're just going to start typing in some things. Um, it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, it does matter what you put in here, but really what matters is not is the engine that you select to render this in. First off, and also what matters is the style you do it in, right? So, I mean, yes, your prompt matters a lot in terms of the actual imagery, but a lot of the time I find that if you keep certain things in certain styles or keep them within constraints, it'll start making all your things look similar. So you really just got to tinker with these styles and the references part. But if you switch the render setting to Firefly to image 2 right here, you can then enter the same prompt. So I was doing Adobe Abstract, basically Abstract swirls, chrome, metallic, orange, black, and silver shapes. You could just basically do metallic or realistic there. I put realistic for this one actually. But metallic is another one I do a lot. I mean, so anyways, I like this one here. Actually, I think the other one looks better. Yeah, let's go with this one. This one, I like this one. It has a lot more color. So yeah, let's download this. And from here, you're going to go into Photoshop and you're going to go to Filter and Eye Candy. Filter Alien Skin Eye Candy. So what's going to happen is if you have your layer selected, it's going to open up a new screen here. It's gonna start on. I'm not sure what effect it'll have you on by default, but you click up there in the top left to go to Chrome. From Chrome, I like to go to Round NYC as a factory default setting. You can even use these settings as your final image, but from there, I just go to lighting. I turn off the brightness and the size, and then I go to import it on the reflection map, and I import the image that we just downloaded. Now, this might seem like a lot quickly. However, I think that if you get slow it down and go back, and like I said, just brightness down, size down, tint amount, just keep all of that down, import, boom. It's really so just basic lighting and bevel profile. You're only really going to tinker with the lighting in the basic tab. The bevel profile I barely touch, so you really are only clicking a few buttons from the Chrome setting. So once you click your image here, boom, look at that. It looks beautiful. Now, if you want to make it look less like an image, you can go back to basic here, go to surface, and I go to lumps, and I kind of put things like on the low end, but still enough to where it looks like it's, you know, kind of warped a little bit. From here, you could go bevel profile, switch how things are directionally facing. I don't really care about that too much. I mean, I like it here personally, but you can mess with all of these settings. You can feel free to experiment. This is strictly just to show you how I do things the way I do them. There might be better, more efficient ways, and I encourage you to find them. So, anyways, from here, we can go back into our alien skin eye candy. And we can go to extrude. And this is how you can make a 3D layer. So we can usually put it at 270 if you want it straight down. And from here, I mean, for this particular one, I'm just going to keep my settings relatively as they were. Click OK. And I don't know, I'm pretty much just going to keep this pretty dark, this background, but I'm going to go back into my alien skin eye candy and I'm going to add some drips. Now, the drip part's fun. It's actually pretty easy too. So you just go to drip, go to melt, crank down the melt because it's going to distort your logo a lot. And if you don't, you're going to take your whole logo around the drip. If you go through with that, it looks cool though. You could do it. So, anyways, I just kind of tinker the settings down. I kind of turn down the lengths, the drip length, the drip width, the density a little bit. Click OK. From here, you can then go into the settings of the actual drip. And well, first off, I'm going to kind of erase a few drips that I don't like the location of. So then I'm going to go back in here, right click, blending options, go to my color overlay. Let's do like an orange color. That looks pretty sick. Okay, cool. Make sure this layer's beneath your chrome layer as well, so just drag it beneath. So yeah, then we're gonna go to the extrude layer, and I'm just gonna make it a little bit darker, like maybe a little bit of satin. The purple's interesting, honestly, um, but I think I'm just gonna stick with the black, kind of keeping it dark. So let's just. I mean, the purple is interesting. Like I said, you can experiment with these. I'm just giving you ideas, like on what you could do. So this kind of dark color is pretty, like that's okay. And then we could even do it outer glow, just to kind of add some character to it. I mean, if we want, we don't have to. Um, just add a little bit of, oomph to it. Now, keep in mind, I am ignoring the process of adding stocks, strokes, flares, grain, grunge, all forms of ways of adding a little bit of, detail. I'm intentionally not doing that because I just want to show you the bare basics of this. I want you all to experiment with adding other things to this. Figure out, I've tried gradient maps before with it, like, there's a lot of potential. So from here, I'm just simply going to my Chrome layer, and I'm just going to go to Bevel and Boss, Drop Shadow. I don't know. Drop Shadow's hit or miss sometimes. It really depends on what kind of AI rendered image you're using. So I think this looks pretty cool right here. It looks decent when you zoom out. I always zoom out just to make sure things look good. That's like kind of like a telltale sign. I might change the bevel and emboss actually and kind of go for a bit of a harden effect. Like you'll see what I mean. Right here, let's go to harden there, and then we're gonna just crank down that opacity. So it kind of adds like a little bit of like a serrated edge to it, kind of like streaking throughout the logo. It looks pretty decent. So we're gonna click OK there. There's one more thing that we could add. It is another component of this, the eye candy. However, before we do that, let's do some curves just to kind of bring the colors back. Kind of bring the colors into a scale that we like. We don't want things looking too bright overall. We don't want things to look kind of hokey. We want things to look blended and like as if, you know what I mean? Like we want it to look like a cohesive human created image, right? Now, I would say that, oh, for the most part, this looks like something you could easily crank out with. I mean, speaking from my own experience, I've made things very similar to this with gradient maps, using even a chrome effect with gradient maps. I mean, there's so much you could do in terms of recreating. You could use Liquify for the drips, but it's just so much quicker to do it this way in terms of just not only is it decent, like it's like McDonald's, right? It's like a consistent execution. It's not the best thing ever, but it's like it works, right? Like you could do this. It's not that bad, and the coolest thing of it is the cooler the image that you find, like you know what I mean. Like you can literally find any image you want, make it work. Now, granted, it's not. How do I say this? It's not just gonna know to like make like a SpongeBob or some IP. Like you can't just tell it to make Goku. You know what I mean? But I think in terms of this abstract kind of stuff, like this is perfect. I mean, albeit not perfect, but it's getting there. It's a great start. And so, like right here, we're just going to go to the icicles. It's another cool effect I was going to show you. Kind of turn down the height, the color so it's kind of a whitish. We're gonna, I mean, just for the sake of this particular design, I can just drag it below a few layers. I mean, you could, like I said earlier, you could decide for yourself like how you like this overlaid. Um, I mean, I like it here. I'm just gonna erase a couple spikes, but overall, I like this quite a bit. Now, I think I might make some changes. Just want to look at some different bevel settings real quick. Ooh, okay, I like that bevel emboss. See, I like that direction. It makes it look more like magma-ish. Um, so this color is pretty cool. I do like this look. But I'm gonna try purple. Ooh, I think that looks sick. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, for right now, let's just leave it there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.